Hi, if we don't know each other yet, my name is Maya. I just turned 50 earlier this year, and today I want to talk about forgiveness. Because last video I was talking about apologies and how a simple apology can elevate some of your relationships so they stop being draining and they stop leaking energy out of you and instead become more supportive and energizing and bring more vibrancy into your life. So apologizing is one side of the coin, and the other side of the coin is forgiveness. So when we forgive, our energies change and shift dramatically. Because before we forgive someone else, and I will talk about forgiving to ourselves as well, but first I want to talk about forgiving to someone else. If we don't forgive someone else that have done something bad to us, that has hurt us, maybe repeatedly, maybe they've done something horrible. If we don't forgive, what we actually do is we are holding on to resentment. Now, I want to make it really clear. You have all the right and all the justification in the world not to forgive anyone who hurt you. You can, you're allowed, it's up to you. But the cost of not forgiving is the cost of carrying the resentment with you wherever you go. Wherever you think you might bump into them, wherever you actually bump into them, that pain of the resentment, you are the one carrying it with you. And I want to talk a little bit more about resentment. Resentment is kind of a low-grade anger. So maybe you're even angry about the person that hurt you. Anger is simple if you understand it as wanting the other person to feel regret or guilt. So you want the other person to feel guilty or to regret the thing that they've done that hurt you. But by carrying that resentment or anger within you, you are not actually going to cause the other person to regret or feel guilty or even apologize to you. They might, but most probably, by you carrying it, they won't change their mind about what they've done. And moreover, maybe you have heard the phrase that's saying, by holding on to anger, it is equivalent to swallowing poison and expecting the other person to die. Because anger really hurts us from within. So on one, you have the hurt that the one person hurt you, they did something really bad to you, towards you. And on the other side, you are the one carrying that poison with you because they have done it. They've done what they did that hurt you. But now, at this stage, you are the one that continuing the hurt within you by holding on to resentment, by holding on to anger. And what I'm saying is that forgiveness is not about agreeing with what the other person. It's not about accepting what they've done to you and saying, yeah, that's all right. No worries, mate. No. Forgiveness is about releasing from within you the resentment or the anger that you hold against that person so you can feel free to move on. So every time you bump into that person, you can see them and not get agitated and not get hurt again and not get angry again. You are free to feel positive emotions instead of negative emotions that bring you down. And I also want to add that forgiving someone else does not mean you have to stay in contact with them, does not mean you have to be their friends or their best friends or anything like that. Forgiving them just means that you allow yourself to be free, to be exactly who you are without feeling awkward or resentment or anger whenever you think about them or whenever you see them walking into the room. Once we understand that forgiveness is not about accepting something terrible that was done to us, it makes it easier to actually go ahead and forgive. And how can we forgive? What can we do in order to forgive? If we understand that the other person has done what they've done because they didn't fully understand the big picture for some reason or another, they thought that what they were doing to you was either not going to hurt you, maybe they didn't even know that it's hurtful, or maybe they had a sense that it was hurtful, but from where they were, their awareness at the time, their consciousness at the time did not fully make them understand how badly it would hurt. If you understand that when someone hurts you, they're coming from a lower consciousness state of mind, that would make it easier for you. Now, regardless of what they are today, perhaps today they have evolved already, and perhaps they haven't. Perhaps they're still going to hurt you again, and perhaps they will hurt other people in the same way because they haven't evolved whatsoever. Perhaps they don't see how bad the things that did are. Regardless of that, the forgiveness is within you from understanding that when they did what they did, it was because it was due to their lack of consciousness, due to their lack of understanding of what they are doing. So now it is a little bit easier to understand how to forgive. And it's a practice you just need to do ongoingly within yourself. Whenever you think about that person, whenever you think you need to meet them, just accept within yourself, this is that person, this is the way that they know how to behave, and there's nothing you can do to change them apart from perhaps rising above it, showing them that it doesn't really hurt you as much anymore. You're not as affected by the things that they've done. And even if they're going to do the same thing again, you won't be as affected anymore because you realize that they don't really have a choice on some levels. Their choice is limited because they don't have the same understanding that you do. I also wanted to talk about forgiving yourself because a lot of people struggle with it. They think, I shouldn't have done what I have done. How could I have hurt someone? Or how could I have made a mistake? And this is the exact same process. You need to understand that by beating yourself up for doing something that now you regret is not going to change anything. What you have already done is already done. You can only decide now what you want to do next. And what you're going to do next will be, okay, deciding, then I'll do my best to avoid making a similar mistake. And by the way, I'm the first person to admit that I repeat my mistakes. I can do the same mistake over and over again before I actually learn the lesson and stop making it and advance. And so I really noticed for myself that when I forgive myself, when I fully forgive myself, I don't repeat my mistakes as often. I don't do them again and again. When I do the same mistake over and over and I beat myself up for it, I'm not really changing anything. I'm just feeling miserable about it. But when I have done a mistake and I'm quickly forgiving myself for that mistake, when I'm quickly over it, I notice that the next time the mistake is not really happening anymore, or not as often, or not as badly. So this is about forgiveness, and I implore you, forgive yourself, forgive the other people around you, forgive those that have hurt you, because you will feel so much better about it. And you will see that you will be able to vibrate and shine fully when you acknowledge that not forgiving is keeping yourself down. Please, I would love to know, share with me, of course, in the comments, if you can, if you know how to forgive someone, if there's someone that you can't forgive, and let's see if we can help each other become better and shine our vibrancy into the world by forgiving to ourselves and to others.